What is up, gamers? Staxwell's back at it again today. Another market watch for you. We have an insane amount of things to talk about. So, no Raid Shadow Legends ads. We're just going to jump straight into it here. Grab a coffee and your favorite blanket. Get cozy because this is going to be a long one. All right, let's jump into it. Crown of Providence would absolutely insane. The cheapest rainbow foil is $250, but that's not really what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the cold foil. The cheapest one is $400 for an unverified. Don't know if you guys want to take the risk on that. Cheapest verified right after that is $500. Absolutely insane hike on this card. Totally makes sense. This is the Fabled from Uprising, if you guys didn't know. Blood Drakai has officially been dethroned and is no longer considered a Fabled. No, jokes, but all jokes aside, this card is very good, and I understand the price tag. I do. In 5-10 years' time, people will look back on this the same way we look back on Tunic now, so it all kind of makes sense here. Tales of Adventure has also gone insanely high. The cheapest rainbow foil on the market is $381. For those of you who do not know, this was a promo for attending World Championships last year. It was like 6 months ago or something like that. At the time I was there, I remember people buying them, like the vendors and stuff were buying them for like $30-$40. So to see them hit $400 nearly is just crazy. Just goes to show you, show up to these events, show up to these callings, these worlds, these pro tours. If you're on the edge, if you're on the fence of pro tour, show up, enter, get these promo cards, throw them in your binder. Wait till they go up and hit these crazy numbers, make the trip pay for itself eventually. I still have mine, probably going to wind up moving it at that price. It's so enticing. It kind of does make sense, though. It's a piece of history, and at the moment, it's the only way to get the card. I imagine it'll be reprinted down the line once like PvE is announced or something like that. I imagine this card will be reprinted, but not in this same variant. It won't be extended art. It won't have that same historical, value behind it. So I could totally see this maintaining, if not going up in price. Absolutely makes sense. Oldham, the cold foil, is $300 now. I think last time we talked about it, it was $170. Yeah, that one sold. The cheapest available is $300. None sold for $300, but that's the cheapest way to get it. This kind of goes into what I always talk about on the channel. Longtime fans of the channel will know. When people look back on their deck, when people look back on their cards and they want to hold on to something for like a sentimental reason or, just like something that's close to their heart, and Oldham was the deck they identified with, right? They're not going to go back and they're not going to be like, oh, I want to get rainbow foil, what's it called? Autumn's Touch. They're not going to want, they're not going to want a rainbow foil Crown of Seeds. They're not going to want Enlightened Strike. No, they're going to want the hero. That's the card they identify with. That's the deck they identify with. Oldham's gone through so many changes, and so many people have stuck with him the whole time. So that's why they stick with the hero. That's why they identify with it. So it makes sense on this price tag, and just keep that mentality in mind moving forward whenever you see foil heroes, right? So Phi, for example, the cheapest rainbow foil is $114. For those of you who don't know, the only way to get this was to attend a sneak peek for Uprising. So this was like a big premiere event, and you had to enter the 3v3, and only one person on your team in the 3v3 got the Phi. So it's a pretty hard card to get. Pretty undervalued, I think. 114. Yeah, sure, Phi's not the best hero right now, but we all know he's going to be good again. He's not going to be bad forever. They're going to print support for him, or the ice heroes are going to rotate and he'll be good again. We know he's not going to be bad forever, so just jump ahead of that train. Don't wait for him to get good. It's a good price. Just pick him up. I want to talk about the Crucible of War weapons. The Rainbow Foil specifically. So Rainbow Foil Death Dealer right now from Crucible of War is $25. Kind of insane. There's so many listed. A few have sold for that price. Yeah, it's just insane. It's gone absolutely terminal. This is a common, so just think about that. And then Centauri Saber, the cheapest Rainbow Foil, is $32, right? So what about, a lot of this is probably because Crucible is short printed and these cards are either immediately good or speculated to be good in the future, right? In the case of Centauri Saber, we know Warrior support is coming on the horizon, so people are kind of speccing into Centauri Saber here. But what about other cards like Sledge of Anvilheim, Rainbow Foil, $2, $250. What is this? Anathos, Rainbow Foil, $250. You think Bravo's never going to get support again? You think this hero's never going to be good? Rainbow Foil Anathos, $250. It just seems so cheap. Obviously, he's going to get support again. This card's going to be good. Don't sleep on it. Get ahead of that train while you're there. Talashar, the Lost Prince, the rainbow foil, is also $3. For those of you who don't know, James White in an interview said that they were going to revisit Talashar and like make a like another version of it that doesn't break. So in my mind, I imagine this like a bamboo sword and a golden bamboo sword from Yu-Gi-Oh! For those of you guys who used to play that stuff, there was whole decks revolved around this combo of evolving your bamboo sword into a golden bamboo sword, and then that card was just broken. I could see Talashar filling that same role. You maybe start with it equipped, and there's some kind of way to upgrade it. I imagine there will be decks that play the engine or just totally are built around it. So yeah, why are you waiting for all the new Talashar stuff to come out? Why not just pick up the rainbow foil now? It's $3. Throw it in a deck box. You'll forget you bought it, and you'll be glad you did one day when the new Talashar stuff comes out, right? Mandible Claw rainbow foil is $5. This was a little bit more expensive, but that's because there are some people who are kind of hip and kind of smart to brute support is on the horizon. They know it's going to go up. Why would we wait for it to hit Death Dealer prices when we could just buy it for $5? Rainbow foil, Mandible Claw, $5. Probably the best pickup in this whole video, if I'm being honest. Harmonized Kadachi's $10. This one's a little bit more expensive just because Katsu's already here, so it's kind of like the peak of what Harmonized Kadachi could be at right now in a lot of people's minds. But think long term, right? Yeah, maybe Kadachi's not that good right now. Maybe Katsu hasn't lived up to the hype, hasn't lived up to expectation. Does that mean there's never going to be a ninja that does? Does that mean Katsu's never going to be good? Think about that stuff. That's just how long-sighted I am in this game. So when I see cards like Harmonized Kadachi Rainbow Foil $10, I still think it's kind of a good pickup. I do. Just having all these good, like not generic, but like class generic weapons is just a good idea to me, especially foil. Some of the white border stuff is super cheap right now. Grasp of the Arcanite's only $50. That's so crazy. And if we look at, let's just take a look at all the history pack stuff while we're here. This is like so good for the game, like how cheap all the history pack stuff is. Tunic $200, E-Strike's like $30, Stormstarter $90, Mask of Momentum's only $70, Art of War is $30. Like, these cards are so cheap. This is just a direct path in. If you're a new player trying to start out the game, this is a fantastic product for you. Maybe even just get a box and try and crack some of this stuff. But the singles are just so cheap, so good price. I would just stick with that. The regular Stormstarters is seeing a bit of an uptick. 130. Is this because people are planning on playing it at Pro Tour? That probably has something to do with it. I think the big thing was Skirmish Season. A lot of people were banking on Kano being the best deck, so they kind of spec'd into the Kano and Icelander Blitz Skirmish Season hype right there. Makes sense. I think this card will come back down a little bit, particularly if Icelander doesn't win the Pro Tour. But, if Hamilton's there on Icelander, I mean, there's a pretty good chance she'll win it. But, yeah, it makes sense. This is also one of the most iconic legendaries in the game. I still think this price point is actually kind of cheap. But I also think it's going to come down. Weird. Library of Solana just keeps on climbing. Cheapest rainbow foil is $415. Cheapest cold foil is $750. We're not even going to get into this. If you're not a hardcore collector, I wouldn't recommend getting this. This card's not even particularly good, but it is a nice collector's piece. If you plan on playing the game very long term and you're a whale of sorts, or you're just a high-end collector, then, I only imagine this card's just going to keep going up as time goes on. Quiver of the Abyssal Depths, or all of the outsiders, the not really heavily played legendaries, it's time to buy them all. They're all at the floor. This is as low as they're going, I imagine. I can't say that for sure, but I'm buying. I think it's time. Rainbow Foil Quiver is only $20. You know it's going to be at least a side deck card one day. Might as well pick it up or trade for it. The cold foil is $65. I probably won't be getting that. Just give myself a rainbow foil just in case I ever need the card. Alluvian Constellas. It was hinted that a all Arcane set will be coming out in the future. And if there's an all Arcane set, you can imagine a world in which Alluvian is just going to be really, really good. So for $24 for a rainbow foil, I think it's absolutely worth it. I think people are hip to this idea, though, because the cold foil, if you guys remember, it got bought out, what was that, a few weeks ago now. And the cheapest one at the market at the time after that buyout was $150. It's cooled down to $70. But yeah, if the all Arcane set comes out, $70 could be a good price for that. Codex of Inertia, the Marvel, has gone up a little bit. Lexi has started to play 3 of this card, so totally makes sense. It's at 150 now. Art of War, the Rainbow Foil. No one is really playing Art of War at the moment, right? Fi was the only deck that played it, and he is not very good right now. Chain obviously played and loved this card, but he's rotated. Levia plays and loves this card, but she is not good either. But Art of War, this card is good. We can't say the same about Levia, but Art of War is actually broken. This is one of the best generics in the game. As the game goes on and cards get crazier and crazier, I imagine Art of War will be better than CNC. It just has so much combo interaction, especially with things like Chain and stuff like that. A new Chain might be coming out. You know, there's just so many reasons that Art of War could be good. And 120 for the Rainbow Foil, while it seems expensive now, this is arguably the best generic in the game that goes in your main deck. So I think it's worth the price tag. But the card is still really good, and if you don't have any, you should still pick them up. The white borders are only $30. There's a lot of promo cards for winning, like the Cold Foil Armory winner promo cards are just ridiculously cheap right now. Spider's Bite, $19. $19, $20, $23. Barbed Castaway, $20. Like, too cheap. And then what was Crow's Nest is $20 right now as well. Insane. All these cards are just going to go crazy one day. Think about the old Army promos. They all just go up, every single one of them. So I'm sure these will do the same one day. Oldham, the Cold Foil Young one, is $40. He did get Living Legend, so do with that information as you will. I'm just putting it all out there. Do with your cards as you want to. Azalea, the Cold Foil, this was for winning Skirmish, is finally on TCG Player. It is $100. This is what they've been selling for on Discord and Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. So this price is totally valid. It makes sense. Azalea isn't very good in Blitz, though, for those of you who don't know. But if you're a big fan of her and you want to play her, I can only imagine it goes up from here. We talked about Minerva on the channel before. I was kind of hyping up the Rainbow Foil. I see a lot of potential in the card. I think it's a fantastic card. But we're not talking about the Rainbow Foil today. We're talking about just the one from the Bolton Structure deck. Is at $650. $650. That's so cheap. $6.50. I mean, not cheap. That's so expensive. Sorry. And if we pull up let's pull up the Bolton deck here. The Bolton deck itself is $11, and then the Minerva from it is $650. That's so crazy. Where's the Bolton card? Isn't there like a foil Bolton? Hold on, did he not come foil in this? The foil Bolton's $1? What? Crazy. But yeah, just keep an eye on all these mentors. They're all going up. Minerva's not the only one. All of them are going up, the ones from the structure deck. So just kind of keep an eye on this stuff. Might be worth looking into picking up a copy of this if you don't have it. God forbid this card becomes a meta. This $650 is going to look cheap by then. Just think of other things like, what's it called? Iron Song Pride? No. What's the card from Ragnar vs. Dorinthia? The Dorinthia card. You guys know what I'm talking about. The one that gives glistening counters. The card's like $40 and it comes from a structure deck. So, I'm not saying Minerva could hit $40, but she could hit like 20. You don't want to be there when she does. Just go ahead and pick that card up now. What else do we got here? Trench of the Sunken Treasure. Kind of touched on this earlier. $25. It has Arcane Barrier 1. There are Rangers that would play Null Rune Robes. They'll never play Null Rune Robes again because they'll just play Trench of the Sunken Treasure, right? $25 I think is as cheap as it's going to get, and this will definitely be a card that is played at some point. Think in the future when there's an all-Arcane set, then maybe Rangers will want to play an Arcane Barrier in their robes. If they do, they're not going to play Null Rune, they're going to play Trench. It's only $25. Get it while you can. Redback Shroud, I think this is also as cheap as this going to get. I'm actually the least confident in this card as opposed to the other two. I would say get this one last. But I could see a world where Arachne finally gets support with his contract mechanic and he just has more silver than he knows what to do with. And in that world, I guess Redback Shroud could be good. But definitely the others are better pickups than this. It's just kind of crazy how much all of the legendaries from Outsiders have fallen. Premeditate as well. This card's only $25 now. Used to be like $40, so that's kind of insane. Still a very powerful card. If you don't have it, I would say get it now. Because if this card wins the Pro Tour, it's going to go absolutely crazy. I could see it going to like $40, $50. The Cold Foil Uzi as well. This was from winning the Outsiders pre-release event. Is at $70. I see them sold on Facebook and stuff like that for like 50 prior to it being listed on TCG. But yeah, there's sold copies for 64. So I would say realistically it's right about 60 for Uzi. Sandscour Great Bow has definitely dropped. This is because Azalea just has such easy access to aim counters in her Crow's Nest. She doesn't need Sandscour Great Bow. She could just play Death Dealers and be happy with it. Crow's Nest is just so good for aim counter synergy. It's not even close. And none of the other Rangers really play this card either. So this is a long-term spec if you're going to pick it up. There could be more aim counter synergy in the future. You know, maybe Crow's Nest gets hit. Something like that could cause Sandscour Great Bow to go crazy. The Marvel Phoenix Flame is criminally cheap right now. It's $20. $20 for a Marvel Phoenix Flame. Such a beautiful card. Fi will be back. We all know Fi's coming back. He's not going to be bad forever, so don't sleep. Just get your Phoenix Flames now. Erased Face is $5. This is like ridiculously cheap. I remember when this card was coming out, everyone was like, it's the new CNC. It's the best Majestic in the set. Da 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 da. People were just hyping this card up. And now to see it at that $5 price tag is kind of surprising. I think it's worth having a playset. I still think it's better than any of the 2-for-6s that came out in Outsiders. But people are looking at Erased Face and thinking, why would I pay $5 for Erased Face when I could just play Humble for 10 cents, right? So I do think it's probably still better than Humble. But $5 is just way ridiculously too cheap. Let's take a look at the Rainbow here. Rainbow's only 15. Kind of crazy. The rainbow foils from Dynasty have gone absolutely bonkers. I think a lot of this is because of the print run numbers from Crew. I think people are assuming that the supplemental sets are all printed substantially less than the regular sets. So people are trying to target cards like Drill Shot here and just buying up all the rainbow foils. This is a rare, and the cheapest rainbow foil is $7. Kind of insane. It's also a good card right now. Shred, the cheapest rainbow foil, Red Shred. This is a rare, but the cheapest rainbow foil is basically $20. Kind of insane. Just wait. Let all this stuff replenish on the market. Don't go in on this stuff. It's way too expensive. Ghostly Touch is $37. It's going up a little bit for sure. I think people are kind of getting ready to that Dusk Till Dawn Illusionist hype. Yeah, if you don't have it, I still think it's pretty cheap. Uprising is going to start disappearing from shelves soon, and when it's gone, you don't want to be caught without a Ghostly Touch in a Prism or in a Illusionist meta that we may be seeing moving forward here. Cheapest cold foil is $63, $64, $65. Yeah, they're like right around the $65 mark for the cheapest cold foil. That is also pretty cheap, I think. Again, when Uprising is gone, all these prices are just going to go crazy. I think it might still be in print, but probably not for much longer. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, subscribe, help the algorithm, help me out, and join the Discord. We have a link for that in the description here. We talk a lot of market before these videos go live, or just throughout. Every day we talk market, honestly. So jump in there, show some support. Thanks for watching. Later, gamers.